Okay, so we're still in the Twitter tutorial part for making our Twitter bot, and the next part of this is for us to get some data. And the place I'm going to try and get data from is Yahoo Finance. So again, I don't know how this is going to work exactly. This is all live. So what I'm going to do is create a function, so def function, but I'm going to call it get, I don't know, get Yahoo. There we go, get Yahoo data. And I'm not sure yet what we're going to return back, but method or function to get data from Yahoo Finance. Now, I have done this before, so I know I've got it somewhere. So I'm going to sift through it, and hopefully, again, this is an example of the code. Like I just hope the code is, because I wrote this probably a year or two ago. I'll find the date of it, but I just hope the code is working. But basically, we're going to do something like get Yahoo data, which has got nothing to do with our Twitter API or anything. And we're going to ask to get, say, for example, I think, well, we sort of know what we want to get because on the tweet, so I have to go back to the original tweet in the messages, and I'll just scroll back somewhere. Here we go. So if I make this bigger, where is it on there? There we go. So like Control Plus to make this bigger so we can read it. Maybe shift and scroll down. Okay. Hopefully it's readable. I'll do one more, but there we go. So we're kind of, this is what we want to get. Okay, send me your BTC address. That was so we're going to go here and take all of that code. So it's 20% S&P, 20% Nasdaq, 30% 2-year Treasury, 20% Bitcoin, 5% gold, 5% silver. There's lots of data providers. Yahoo's one of them. So we want to get something like this. Is what we want to get. So we'll comment it. We'll put a comment around all of this. That's what we want to get. And hopefully we can get lots of that stuff from Yahoo Finance. I've used it before for equities. So I wonder how it's going to work. We should be able to get the index value for the S&P and the Nasdaq. Hopefully, these are all main things. So we should be able to get those, and then let's just zoom back out of that. Control minus. Right, and then just moving that back into space. So we should be able to get those, and if we can, from Yahoo Finance. So let's have a little browse around, this is the file where I just clicked on here. So again, just as it's like, over here is the file system. Here's for searching. This one's for debugging. We've not actually used the debugger, primarily because we can use the interactive Python, and we could also revert to a Jupyter Notebook, but mostly because of this. So it kind of like some of the classical debugging that one used to do in the debugger is sort of like circumvented over there. This is applications, so other things that we can click on, so just useful features, add-ons, effectively in Visual Studio Code. So it's just our sidebar basically. Let's get rid of that and go back to the mouse. So here is where our function. Here's where all of our files are, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I got here, like a LinkedIn bot and iShares and IG Index, and my attempt at using Flask to make a Flask app. CoinFloor, which was an exchange that I once traded on, that's no longer in existence because it got bought out. That kind of stuff. And I did broadly navigate this, and I did manage to find it relatively quickly. This is called Y Finance instead of Yahoo Finance. So let's see what's in it. Output.txt. There we go. I've managed to get something out in something previously. Let's scroll back. Just lost that. Y Finance. Let's test.py. So, okay, so I've put in here example of return data, and it looks like quite a lot of stuff gets returned. I mean, that goes down to 121 rows of things, of items that get returned, like earnings, quarter, yearly growth. Although a lot of them say none, so you don't get a lot of stuff. But we're only really after, I'm presuming, I don't know where it's going to be, but somewhere there's got to be a price thing in here. So regular market low, yield, dividend yield, payout ratios. I wonder if I can find it like that, or maybe if I get... Well, there we go. We've got a bid. Probably have an ask then in that case. If it, I don't know, it's not even alphabetical by the looks of it. So I can do a search for price. Price hint, stock price none, price to sales. Quite a few versions of this. Maybe one of those is a price to book ratio. Regular market price. That might be something, possibly regular market price. NAV price, well, that's for exchange traded funds. So I guess we're either going to use, so we'll have a look, but that last one, regular market price, might be one of them. There was a bid, and I presume that there must be an ask. It's usually called an ask, so there's a bid and an ask. So 144.95 there, and bid was 144.90, so that was good. And then mid, maybe there's a mid. There isn't a mid. Is there a mid? No, no mids. So there's a bid and an ask, so we could get an average of those two. And price. Let's just go and see what the price was. There might be a close as well, regular market price. So that didn't. I'm not sure that's in context because they're 144s. So maybe last. That's quite common. Last market price. No, last. Dividend yield. I'm literally searching through for common things. Close. Let's have a look. Regular market, previous close. That's interesting. 156. So whatever that was, seemed quite volatile. And one thing that comes to mind while I'm actually doing this is that whatever we get, the things like, if we just go back here, these equities here and the treasuries are going to have prices during the course of US hours, and then they won't have prices outside of US hours. They'll be like fixed at some sort of closing price. Gold and silver, they'll probably, well, they're going to have prices through most of the hours because they'll be open in other countries, so that'll be interesting to see over there. There might be some futures that we can get that'll be open 24/7 actually on all of these. Bitcoin is a 24-hour price, so that's the only one that will guarantee to be there. But so we might have an index that's static through a large part of the time. So we'll see what we get back from that. Let's just go back to the other Yahoo one. So do analysis. So that's probably where I've done the labour. So I'll double click on this because when it's got an italics writing, it means it's going to keep closing. So I'll actually click on this one too and double click on that. So now we've got do analysis right next to it. We'll keep those files open because we might be coming back to them. But it looks like, so I've done this before in the past, and this is the thing about writing decent code or Pythonic code or something. I haven't commented much, so I haven't put in sort of like, a doc string, inspect ticker, but it looks like it's relatively straightforward, which is why I haven't. Print bid, ask, company bid, info. So it looks like we can get something back relatively quickly. but this is for companies. And when I did this, it was in Dropbox back in the day, and now I'm using Google Drive. So I'll be changing the path. Dropbox lives on your C drive on Windows, so unless you put it onto a different labeled drive, whereas Google Drive is just G. So again, I should use, in terms of paths and things, the one thing that I should do is, if I'm going to write to a file, is either make sure that the file is in the same folder, or actually we're not going to write to a file anyway, but you'd make sure the file is in the same folder, or a nested folder, and use like relative paths, or maybe use the os.path, the OS module basically, to get os.path and get the absolute path of the file where it is, so that you know where you're pointing to, so that you don't put in absolute, so you don't put in path names like this. So there are ways to circumvent this, but I tend to do this when I'm going faster, just because you want to get it working basically. This is quite interesting because you can get bulk data. So, and the only reason I say it's interesting is because that SPY is the S&P. But that has the start date and the end date, so it looks like it's getting data over a period of time. So that's possibly useful as well, although if we want sort of like just to publish the results that are there. But funnily enough, the guy that asked, maybe I can comprise an index that's actually going back in time as a bonus, as a bonus gift. So yeah, in that case, what I'll do, I don't know if this works, I'm going to do a tester. We use the NumPy and Pandas modules. Well, actually we don't, because they're grayed out, so I haven't used them. So I wonder if I can just do an import and get it running. Inspect ticker, get company info, print it. So that'll print it to the screen. This will attempt to write it to Dropbox. Bulk data and 14 ticker list, inspect ticker. So we're calling this, I guess we're calling this inspect ticker. Okay, fine. The only thing is I need to make sure that I've got a Dropbox file called general finance, and I don't think I use Dropbox anymore, so that might fail. So I was going to just test this file here in place, but it looks like I'll have to create a new, I might create a new module and sort of like just do it. So that's what we'll do anyway, because we sort of like need to get it done. Maybe what I'll do is I'll create a new one in here. Or just, I might create a new one. Let's have a look. Right to file. Maybe we can omit the right to file, because we don't need that right to file thing. I'm just wondering if I should create a new file or not. I could just comment this out now, but then just not save that, because this is all just writing to file. Writer. YF ticker, inspect ticker, bulk data. Inspect ticker. Because when we call this, it's going to try and write it and fail. Print total assets, company info. So I think we would have got the data by then. So I might just comment this out. That's what I think I can do, is control / that, and just hit, because that's going to, I've just commented this out and I can put it back in just to test and see if we get anything, and hit F5, which is going to run the code. Import Y finance, no module name Y finance. Okay, so I wanted to sort of like get to that point. I'll hit stop there, and so that was a code that was commented out, which I will put back. But we had a no module name Wi-Fi. It's over here, so control and click on that, and it should launch it somewhere. Let me click on that, and then I'll do it again. Hopefully it launches it into a browser. There we go. So that's Wi-Finance, pip install Wi-Finance, and I had this working. I probably built it on my laptop or on another PC. And can I do a control plus? Is it control and scroll up? Yeah, there we go. So I probably had it working on a different PC back in the day. I know that these things change. Wi-Finance, Yahoo Finance, registered trademark, is not affiliated or endorsed. Okay. Wi-Finance is not affiliated or endorsed or vetted by Yahoo Inc. It's an open source tool and lets you that uses Yahoo's publicly available APIs and is intended for research and educational purposes. So that's basically what we're using it for. We're not doing anything more than that. We're scraping a couple of bits of data. And anyway, here it is. They kind of like give you all of this stuff that's available and what you can sort of like get back. So I would have gone through this, whenever I did go back a couple of years ago and using something similar to this. So I've got to install it on this PC, which is quite simple. It's just copy that pip install Wi-Finance. So you'll see me pip installing something, I guess, for the first time. And if it fails, because I had that no module named Wi-Finance, but I could already tell it wasn't there because this is in white. If it was, I think it'll be in green or yellow, then that means that the import works. Although, actually, I should get the three squiggly scores, the red squiggly underline saying that nothing's there, because the linter should have picked that up before. So let's just put it in, pip install Wi-Finance. And this is a typical pip install, and I'm doing it live. So if it fails in real time. And then I'll have to try and figure out how to get it working. So it looks like it's done. I wonder if I need a restart or not. I don't know. And let's just tab back. Pip install Wi-Finance, and I'm hoping import Wi-Finance as YF, just making sure that it looks like it's the same. Yeah, Wi-Finance as YF, and actually you just seen it's turned green, so it was a little bit slow on the linter. I don't know why, maybe the linter didn't pick it up. But now if I hit F5, I'm hoping that we get something back. It's thinking, the moment of truth. There we go, bid ask 46.50. I don't know what I've asked for, and then it's kind of like failed over here, total assets, but that's possibly for some other reason. So probably because I guess company info total assets doesn't exist. I don't even know what I asked for, but I might have asked for an index ticker. I've called in ticker here as a function, and probably because this one's been taken over, Kazakhsmith has been taken over. So that's how old my code is. This was a mining company. So this was a copper mining company. So Lloyd's still exists and Barclays still exists. So and these are UK companies. So let's just put in, well, is Apple over there for the thing? I was total assets. I don't know if the S&P will have total assets, but I could try and just stick in the S&P there and try and run that. So I'll hit stop and see, possibly, but that's at least why that one failed. So F5 on that and rerun it, and let's see. A lot of YouTube tutorials. Okay, that didn't work either. That's me failing there. Kind of like, I guess it's because I guessed that. So what I might have to do is I can either eliminate it, or I'll pick something that I've got some shares in, possibly. maybe. Let's have a little check of where have I got my shares. S&P, Barclays. What have I got currently? That is Sainsbury's shares, SBRY. I just want to put three things in there. BRY.L. Sainsbury's shares. So let's hit or attempt to hit a run on that. Close that WhatsApp thing on the side, otherwise I get beeps all the time. So I'm going to hit a run on this time, so stop. I could go into the debugger, but there's no point because the error message is relatively clear. And hit F5 again to run it. And it might work this time just because I've got 3 UK companies. Key error. Okay, it's not. The reason why, hold on, total assets. I didn't read the error message properly, maybe. So now I'm forced to read the error message because I assumed it was something. Oh, no, that's just the module that it was in. Okay, fine. Key error, total assets. I will eliminate that line because we don't need it. How about that? Actually, I won't eliminate the line. I'll put stop over there because I know it kind of like works. And I'm not going to eliminate it. But I'll do a control / and a save. And I'm going to go and lift some of this code and basically put it into, let's get our show all open editors, just because I've got it in large. So let's get that one back up. Oh, that's a test Yahoo Finance one. That's not the one I wanted. Show all open editors. It was this one over here. So yeah, they do analysis. So we want to get some of this code basically into here. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is import Yahoo Finance as YF. I could take all of that in there. So I'll scroll up to the top. We need this imports, otherwise we won't be able to get it to work. And let's just put it over here. Maybe don't need this little comment. In fact, X, I'll take that comment out. Import Yahoo Finance as YF. And I might stick it just straight into, just in case we kind of like need it at some point, over here. So that's where anything that, for getting the Yahoo data, that's where it's going to come from. And then let's do def inspect ticker. Let's copy a lot of this. Probably don't need the company actions thing actually. I wonder if it's just as short as that, because company actions, this field might not exist. The one that was thrown here, this total assets thing, because it looks like it's reading a dictionary. Company info, well, it is of type dict here, and this field might not exist, which is why it might be failing it, but I'm not going to check that deeply. So I'm just going to do this for now. In fact, I probably only need to do, because we've got the ticker bit here, so it might be as simple as this. And paste it over here. So we haven't got that much code now. The ticker equals, I don't know, I'll just use Bark for Barclays because I think that will work. And what we might, so we're going to print the bid and the ask of Barclays. So company info is going to be data.info, and data is a Yahoo Finance object, I guess, because it's there. We can sort of like inspect and see what it is, and that's what I'm going to have to do anyway. But we kind of just want to get the mid bits, so let's just, we've got that here, and what we'll do is we're just going to call this, so we're going to get Yahoo Finance data. So get Yahoo, yeah, I can even copy this copy that, and when we run it, we're just going to, it's not going to do much, it's just going to print one line, but hopefully it'll print one line without an error message. And we're not worried about the rest of the code down the when we were looking at the do analysis thing, because we're going to do our own. We're not even going to do that. Well, we are going to do some analysis. It'd be a little bit cruder, but so let's just do it here. Get Yahoo data, and again, function to get Yahoo data from finance. So we're going to make a tweet, then we're going to print our success code, and then we are going to get Yahoo data. In fact, let's not even print. We know that the tweet bit works, so we're just going to hit F5 and run this, and that should run down below. So F5, waiting. Yeah, there we go, and no error message. So it was that dictionary part of it. I think if I can zoom, or not zoom up, but scroll up a bit, that's probably, I did, there was some sort of object. Oh no, that's from the Twitter stuff. So that's Twitter stuff. So that is basically what we've done in our function. That's cool. So yeah, this works. At least we know we can get data. So that's good. And now we're going to, or I might leave it for the next video, but I'm going to go in and try to, with this, we know that the Yahoo Finance API, or not the API, the module that we've imported is working, at least to the level where we can get something. So we're going to try and get S&P data. That's what we're going to do in the next section. We're going to try and get some. We're going to try and get the S&P, the Nasdaq, 2-year Treasuries. I'm going to sift around and search for it. Some Bitcoin, gold, silver. So we're going to do all of that. I know that I can get Bitcoin prices anyway, although I get them from Binance. But I'm going to try and get it from Yahoo Finance because it'd be more convenient if I can get it all from one data source. And then convert it into an index, or maybe return a list. That would probably be quite nice. Return a list or a dictionary is what we're going to return back from here. Return a list or a dictionary that will contain these, and then we can do some analysis on it. So this will be like a getter function, like get the data, and then somewhere else we'll have another function that does like the index. So yeah, I'll stop the video here for this one, and we'll pick up on the next one. We've got the Yahoo data fundamentally working.